Andrew and Alice were two best friends who had always been curious about abandoned places. One day, they decided to explore a creepy, dilapidated asylum on the outskirts of town. As they entered the building, they were struck by the eerie atmosphere and the strange noises that echoed through the halls. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind them, trapping them inside. Andrew and Alice tried to find a way out, but all the doors were locked, and the windows were boarded up. They were trapped, and there was no escape. Days passed, and Andrew and Alice began to feel like they were losing their minds. They couldn't remember how they got there, and they couldn't figure out a way to escape. One night, Andrew woke up in a dark room, completely alone. He had no memory of what had happened to Alice. He stumbled through the halls, calling out her name, but there was no answer. As he turned a corner, he was met by a figure in a dark cloak. The figure stepped into the light, revealing a twisted, grotesque face. It was the asylum's former head doctor, who had gone mad and was now terrorizing the building. Andrew tried to run, but the doctor was too fast. He caught Andrew and dragged him back to the dark room, where he was strapped to a table and subjected to horrific experiments. Just when Andrew thought it was all over, he heard a faint whisper in the darkness. It was Alice, who had managed to escape from the doctor and was now trying to save him. Together, they fought off the doctor and finally managed to escape the asylum. But as they were running away, they heard a cackling laugh behind them. The doctor was still alive and was now after them. With one final jump scare, Andrew and Alice realized that they would never truly be free of the horrors of the asylum. They would never forget the horrors they had faced, and the memories would haunt them for the rest of their lives. They ran as fast as they could, never looking back, but they could still hear the doctor's laughter echoing in the night. They finally made it to safety, but they were forever changed by the horrors they had faced. Andrew and Alice tried to rebuild their lives, but they could never shake the feeling that the doctor was still after them. They would have nightmares about the asylum and the twisted experiments they had been subjected to. Years went by, and they thought they had finally put the asylum behind them. But one day, they received a mysterious package in the mail. It was a journal, filled with the doctor's notes and drawings from his time at the asylum. They were horrified to see that the doctor had been experimenting on many other people before them and had even more twisted plans for the future. They knew they had to do something to stop him once and for all. Andrew and Alice rallied a group of people who had also been affected by the doctor's experiments, and together, they went back to the asylum to face their fears and stop the doctor once and for all. As they entered the building, they heard the same eerie noises and felt the same creeping fear they had felt all those years ago. But this time, they were determined to end the doctor's reign of terror. They finally found the doctor and confronted him, but it was a fierce battle. Just when they thought they had him defeated, he let out a maniacal laugh and disappeared into the shadows. To this day, no one knows what happened to the doctor, or if he still haunts the asylum. But for Andrew and Alice, they will always remember the horrors they faced and the bravery it took to overcome them.